both Caitlin Clark with Connor and Alan Zucker at Lucas Oil Stadium. Now, Alan Zucker, I believe that is the guy that we got to keep in mind. The one comment said, this college Caitlin. Now, Caitlin Clark did lose a lot of muscle, man. To me, Caitlin Clark had to go back to who she was pre-Indy.
Weight loss isn't the real story here. That photo from the Indiana versus Ohio State game on November 23rd tells a completely different tale. Look closely at Caitlin Clark standing next to Alan Zucker at Lucas Oil Stadium, and you're witnessing one of the most significant career moves in WNBA history, yet nobody is talking about it. Zucker isn't just any agent, he's the powerhouse behind Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, Archie Manning, and even Taylor Swift. And now he's representing Caitlin Clark.
And I think she should definitely, you know what I'm saying, maybe reach out to him if she have not already. This comment stated, it looked like Caitlin Clark has a new agent. That's how I read this picture. Now, somebody else, then it goes on to say, and she lost a very lot of weight. So I believe this Alan Zucker guy, right? One of these guys, let me see here. I think this picture might have came.
Here's the takeaway. Caitlin Clark just cut ties with her old agent and signed with one of the most influential agents in sports. This isn't a sideways move, it's a full-scale strategic upgrade. And the timeline makes the reason obvious. Her Nike deal, announced in December 2024, was negotiated under her previous representation, 8 years, $28 million. Sounds huge until you realize just how much she left on the table.
A couple months ago. Let me see here. Goldman Sachs. Pull this up. Goldman Sachs Sports. Let's pull this up. Yeah, so we all remember this, right? So this right here, Goldman Sachs acquires majority stake in Excel Sports Management. Now, Goldman Sachs was already reaching out to Caitlin Clark and already doing business with her. You know, I believe she had a sponsorship with them, if I'm not mistaken, her rookie year. That's just Goldman Sachs, the company. And I believe that could be a big reason why they decided to purchase the company.
In 2023, Goldman Sachs bought a majority stake in Excel Sports Management for nearly $1 billion. Excel already had ties to Caitlin Clark through partnerships during her rookie season, but here's the part most people overlook. Excel represents Under Armour as a brand. Client. That's why Steph Curry was so adamant about bringing Caitlin Clark to Under Armour. He wasn't just being generous, he had a direct line through his agency to make it happen. Instead, Caitlin Clark went with Nike. Multiple reports indicate that deal was well below market value for a player who drew 3.2 million viewers to WNBA games and became the most watched women's basketball star in history. That choice was made under her previous representation. Now she's with Alan Zucker, now she's with Excel, and now everything is poised to shift big. Time
was represent. That's why Steph Curry was so mad. See, y'all, all of this is starting to make sense now. See, Under Armour was represented by Excel, so they had a direct line to get Caitlin Clark. Under Armour did. I can't lie, man. I ain't rocking no Under Armour shoes, and Caitlin Clark probably signed with Nike because she liked to wear Nikes, bro. Like, who actually liked to wear?
Take a look at who Alan Zucker represents. Trevor Lawrence secured a 5-year, $275 million contract extension with the Jacksonville Jaguars in June 2023. That's the caliber of deals we're talking about. Peyton Manning became one of the highest paid endorsers in sports history. Under Zucker's guidance, these aren't just contracts, they're legacy-defining partnerships. And now, Caitlin Clark has stepped into that world. She went from an agent who negotiated a break for more and stacked it biz. Solid Nike deal to one who builds billion-dollar brands. This isn't just an upgrade, it's a complete reinvention of her business strategy.
Clark's picture with here, this is Alan Zucker. That's him in the far left there, right? And he's chilling there with Caitlin Clark Connor. I don't know who this gentleman is, but let's read about this Alan Zucker. So Alan Zucker is a partner at Excel Sports Management. Do he represent the Mannings? It looked like he definitely represents the Mannings. Oh, so he represents both Mannings. Agent for Mannings, Taylor Swift. Bro, so he got Taylor Swift too. Wow, Alan Zucker clients.
The physical transformation is just as important. Between the end of the WNBA season in October and that November photo at Lucas Oil Stadium, Caitlin Clark shed a significant amount of muscle. She's returning to her Iowa body, the version that shattered NCAA records and became college basketball's most electrifying player. This shift isn't accidental. When she bulked up for the WNBA, her game suffered. Her three-point accuracy dipped, and the signature deep-range shots that made her famous became inconsistent. Even Steph Curry weighed in publicly, noting she needed to tweak her mechanics. Now, she's reversing course, and with Alan Zucker guiding her career, this is bigger than just basketball. It's about brand alignment. The Caitlin Clark America fell in love with was the Iowa version. That's the version that sells, and that's exactly the version Zucker is poised to market.
If this site right here is legit, what is this right here? Y'all look. Investigating clients, Alan Zucker. Trevor Lawrence, football. Clayton Crenshaw, baseball. Caitlin Clark, basketball. Whoa. Hold up. This probably is for real. This probably is for real, y'all. Let me fact check this before I yay or nay this. That's him on the far left. But this site right here is saying that she signed with him. She's with him now. Wow. Oh yeah. She definitely Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, Arch Manning, Trevor Lawrence, just Caitlin Clark. She has a new agent.
Excel Sports Management doesn't just handle contracts, they create entire ecosystems. With Alan Zucker in your corner, you're not just securing a better shoe deal, you're unlocking strategic partnerships across media, entertainment, technology, and traditional sports. Endorsements. Take Taylor Swift, for example. Zucker's work with her isn't about music deals, it's about building the largest touring machine in entertainment history and negotiating streaming agreements that set new industry standards. That's the arena Caitlin Clark has just stepped into. The timing couldn't be better. Her Nike contract runs through 22, but it includes performance, clauses, and renegotiation windows. With Zucker now representing her, expect those talks to different mores kick off immediately. Right now, Caitlin Clark is drastically underpaid compared to her market. Impact. She's drawn more viewers to women's basketball than anyone ever, single-handedly, boosting WNBA attendance. Indiana Fever home games went from averaging 4,670 fans in 2023 to 17,000. Yet her current endorsement deals don't match that value. Alan Zucker's mission? Correct that fast.
Because Erin Kane fucked up the Nike deal. She completely slaughtered her Nike deal, bro. Wow. For the longest time, I thought that Caitlin Clark was her uncle. Nope, an agent. He's her agent. She fired Erin Kane. Sending her with one of the partners of XL provides cues to Caitlin Clark is moving exactly what. Yeah, guys. I'm expecting big change from Caitlin Clark 2026, bro, because she just.
The client roster at Excel Sports Management reads like a lineup of sports royalty. Beyond the Mannings and Trevor Lawrence, they represent basketball superstars like Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jason Tatum, Trae Young, and Draymond Green. These aren't just athletes, they're powerhouse brands. Excel's approach sets them apart from traditional sports agencies. They don't just maximize short-term value, they focus on building long-term equity. When Peyton Manning retired from Store 5 is his name, the NFL. His post-career earnings actually grew thanks to the foundation Excel established during his playing years. That's the blueprint now in place for Caitlin Clark. At just 22, she has potentially 15 more years on the court. With Alan Zucker steering her business decisions, those 15 years could become the foundation for a 50-year brand.
The first time y'all hearing about this, I'm telling you, people gonna have to shout your boy John Liquidator out, because I just exposed it all. So this is the first time y'all hearing about this. This is major news. And until next time, shake the haters.
Here's why this move matters. Caitlin Clark didn't just change agents to chase bigger deals. She made the switch because her previous representation fundamentally misjudged her. Market value. Take her Nike contract, $28 million over 8 years, averages to $3.5 million per year. For comparison, Sabrina Ionescu's Nike deal reportedly exceeds $5 million annually, and Caitlin Clark generates more media attention, higher ratings, and greater cultural impact than any active women's basketball player. That discrepancy exists because someone didn't negotiate properly. Alan Zucker doesn't make those mistakes. When Trevor Lawrence signed his contract extension, he became the highest paid quarterback in NFL history, not simply because he was bold, the best quarterback, but because Zucker understood leverage and timing. He knew when to negotiate, what to demand, and how to maximize value. Now, imagine that level of expertise applied to Caitlin Clark. Her leverage has never been higher. WNBA ratings peaked when she played. Her jersey sales outpaced every other player. Games were moved to larger venues because demand exceeded capacity. Yet her endorsement earnings don't reflect that impact until now. The 2023 Goldman Sachs acquisition of Excel Sports Management brought something traditional agencies lack: institutional capital and financial engineering expertise. Goldman Sachs doesn't just negotiate deals, they structure them. They craft revenue sharing, arrangements, equity partnerships, and long-term value strategies that go far beyond a typical endorsement contract. When Caitlin Clark's Nike deal comes up for renegotiation, it won't be just a shoe contract, it will be a full-fledged partnership with performance incentives, equity components, and media rights. Integration, that's what Zucker and Excel bring to the table, and it's exactly what Caitlin Clark now has access to. Think about the timing. The WNBA's collective bargaining agreement expires in 2027, and player salaries are about to be renegotiated across the league. Having Alan Zucker in the room is like bringing a nuclear weapon to a knife fight. He's negotiated multiple CBAs across sports, knows how to maximize leverage, create competitive bidding, and walk away when the offer isn't right. Consider the numbers. Caitlin Clark's rookie salary in 2024 was $76,000, the league minimum. Her second-year pay under the current CBA will be roughly the same, but when the 2027 CBA is renegotiated, Zucker will sit across from league executives with undeniable proof. Caitlin Clark generated more revenue for the WNBA in a single season than many franchises make in 5 years. That's a negotiating position that changes everything. Here's the striking part. The media completely missed this story. The photo from Lucas Oil Stadium went viral on social media, with people commenting on her appearance, her weight, loss, and even speculating about her personal life. But almost nobody noticed Alan Zucker standing right next to her or understood the magnitude of what that represented. It took independent research and cross-referencing Excel Sports Management's client roster to piece together what was actually happening. Caitlin Clark just made one of the most important business decisions of her career, and the sports media largely ignored it. That's telling about how women's basketball gets covered. If LeBron James switched agents, it would dominate the news cycle, with analysts breaking down every potential financial move. When Caitlin Clark does it, it's just a photo at a football game. That lack of coverage is exactly why Caitlin Clark needed this change. Her previous agent worked in a world where women's basketball players were expected to be grateful for whatever deals came their way. Alan Zucker operates in a completely different arena, one where his clients set the market. They don't just accept offers, they spark bidding wars. They turn their value into generational wealth. Over the next 12 months, watch Caitlin Clark's endorsement portfolio explode. And it won't just be more deals, it will be entirely different kinds of deals. Think equity partnerships with rising, brands, media production ventures, tech platforms, the type of diversified business interests that transform athletes into entrepreneurs. Look at Peyton Manning. He owns multiple Papa John's franchises, a stake in the Memphis Grizzlies, and has production deals with ESPN and Netflix. None of that happened by chance. Zucker built a business infrastructure around Manning's playing career that created wealth long planes in two after he retired. Now, imagine that blueprint applied to Caitlin Clark. She's already the most recognizable face in women's basketball, with crossover appeal that reaches far beyond the court, and now she has representation that knows how to monetize that appeal at the highest level. The Iowa connection is key too. Caitlin Clark became a cultural phenomenon at the University of Iowa, breaking Pete Maravich's all-time NCAA scoring record, leading Iowa to back-to-back national championship games, and doing it with a playing style that was genuinely entertaining. The deep threes, the no-look passes, the swagger, that's the version of Caitlin Clark that made her famous. That's the version Alan Zucker is now going to market. So was the mishandling of the Nike deal the final straw, or were there other factors behind this switch? We may never know the full story. What's clear is that Caitlin Clark recognized she needed a different kind of representation, someone who truly understood her value and could negotiate accordingly. And she found that in Alan Zucker. This isn't just about money, it's about respect. It's about being valued properly for the impact you create. Caitlin Clark changed women's basketball. She brought millions of new fans to the Dros. Sport generated unprecedented media coverage and commercial interest. And now her compensation will finally reflect that. Under Zucker's guidance, it will. So here's the question for you. Did Caitlin Clark make the right move by firing her previous place agent? Was the Nike deal truly undervalued, or is this about positioning for the next big machines? Negotiation? And most importantly, what do you think Alan Zucker will secure for her in her next major deal? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're hearing this story for the first time, hit subscribe. We'll be tracking every move Caitlin Clark makes under her new representation.